Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Glad you're with me. There's a buddy of mine who said, I'm not sure if Tom Petty is dead, but I'm dang sure journalism is. Boy, when you watch what's going on in this country that is being echoed all around the world, it is so amazing that we still exist. Leftism is pervasive now. If for nothing else, we as conservatives, we need to batten down the hatches and say we're taking a stance right now at this time in our lives in order to ensure that whatever time is left of the world is spent in conservatism. Welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255 if you want to contact us. Folks, I cannot tell you how crazy the leftists are. If Democrats worked as hard for America as they do torpedoing you, torpedoing the president, there is no question in my mind we could solve all of our problems. Look at any situation we currently have going. By the way, we're not talking about the things we should be talking about. Protecting this country, North Korea, Iran, protecting our monetary system, protecting us from EMP pulse attacks, protecting us from all the other things that are going on around the world as we focus on gun control and all these just nonsensical issues. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all things that the left own. I did a video yesterday, and that video was all about the left saying, you know what, we need to take the guns. They've been talking about silencers, and what if he'd used a silencer? He didn't, but what if he did? And then I even heard an FBI expert talk about the reason why hunters use silencers when hunting deer is the deer won't hear them. These are people that don't understand animals. They certainly don't understand a silencer because it isn't as silent as it sounds, as people make it sound. I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't want to cover real issues. They say that we want to run from the idea of talking gun control in the event of a tragedy. Let me ask you. I asked this question the other day. Do they ever talk gun control when guns prevent tragedy? How many people were prevented from being shot? How many people were prevented from being killed by a gun throughout this country? Let me put it to you a different way. I guarantee you that the day of the shooting in Las Vegas, guns were used to protect more people and saved more lives than the number of people who were killed or wounded in Vegas. And it happens every single day. Supposedly, we have over 300 million guns in this country. And we have one fool who, by the way, is a leftist who takes a weapon, modifies it so he can mow down multiple people. And who is he after? He's after us. Who do you want to blame? You want to blame the gun, or do you want to blame that shooter? The very same guy, or his type, is the one who went after Republicans in D.C., and these guys pretend they got amnesia. Well, Kevin, what are you talking about? I'm talking about that leftist lunatic that shot Scalise and tried to kill a bunch of other people. And the only reason why, for the record, that he didn't get to kill all those people is because of a gun. Oh, well, if he didn't have the gun, there wouldn't be a need for a gun. Well, you know what? If there weren't criminals, there wouldn't be any need for cops. You telling me you're going to stop criminality? And while we're on the subject of criminality, and we're on the subject of banning things, as I said in my video, why don't we ban young black teenagers? Why don't we just get rid of them? I mean, they are certainly a violent group. Look at Chicago. Vegas lost 59 people got killed in Vegas. I don't know what the murder rate is going to definitely be a lot higher in Vegas this year when they look at the stats. It's going to make Vegas look like a very dangerous city. Okay? And Vegas isn't as dangerous as these numbers are going to portray. But here's what I will tell you. Chicago is a dangerous city. Cleveland is a dangerous city. Baltimore, Detroit. I could go on. These are dangerous cities. People are being killed every day in Chicago. Every single day. And on the weekends, it's almost a sport. So if you're going to look at this, then and it's funny because the liberals, they'll talk about, you don't want to talk about gun control. I'm not going to talk about something stupid. You want me to talk about not having the ability to protect myself. Let's not talk about gun control. Let's talk about, Kevin, you shouldn't have the ability to protect yourself. I tell you what, why don't you outlaw the martial arts? Anyone caught taking the martial arts that can protect themselves, potentially hurting others, you are banned. I mean, if we're going to go, let's go for it. It cracks me up that we have these specious arguments that there is no debate. You're not taking my gun. You're not taking my weapon. I've got a weapon on me pretty much wherever I go. And I have a weapon because I am a weapon. But I have a weapon on me pretty much wherever I go. You want to bring out your weapon? I promise you, I'm going to have mine. But let's go back to these, what we don't want to talk about. They say we don't want to talk about gun control. I say you don't want to talk about crime. Most of the crime in America is done by leftists. There aren't many Reagan shirts and Bush shirts in jail, but you can find a lot of Obama shirts. There aren't many people go to a jail and say, how'd you vote? And find out how they voted. See, conservatism, what used to be the Republican Party, we're law and order. So you think criminals like law and order? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you that conservatives don't commit crimes, but not anywhere close to the numbers that leftists do. It's exponential. It's certainly geometric if it's not exponential. The amount of crime done by leftists. And they say, take away your guns. Well, I say, take away your black teen thugs. Let's take away 6% of the population that commits 53% of the murders, 47% of all violent crime. Let's go ban young black teenagers. When you get to be 10 years old, young black kids, we'll let you live. When you get to be 12 or 13, we got our eye on you. You commit a crime, we kill you. I mean, leftists, they want to ban, they want to get rid of something, get rid of the tool that's doing it. So you get rid of the tool. Do you honestly believe, I'm just asking leftists, do you honestly believe that if you get rid of the tool, the gun, that it's going to stop young blacks from committing crimes? It would be ridiculous to believe that. I can give you statistics on Britain, and I will in a little bit because we're about to run out of time for this segment. Look, folks, why we entertain these people with some of these stupid arguments is ridiculous. What I'd like to see the president and you do is when they bring up illegal immigration, gun control, you just say, look, it ain't going to happen. Shut up. I'm not even going to talk to you about something stupid.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. You can also get a hold of us at 844-551-8255. And I want to talk, we got a lot to talk about, gun control and all this other crap that's going on with respect to Las Vegas. Trump was called a racist because of his coverage of, support of Puerto Rico. And of course, he's throwing out paper towels or what it was to the crowd. Donald Trump has some funny tactics. He keeps the left talking. I want to talk a little bit about what the left believes is going to happen in 2018. We got a clip from Pelosi. But I've been wanting to talk about this one story, and it's about a groom who saved a child. And I'm going to let you hear the clip in just a second, but the husband and wife are out there taking wedding photos when the groom springs into action and he sees this child who's effectively drowning, and he pulls him out of the water. So here's the clip.
Clayton and Brittany Cook smile as they look at their wedding pictures, remembering not just the wedding, but what happened moments after the photos were taken.
I look over and I see Clay in the water, and I think, what is he doing?
She didn't know at the time Clayton was saving a life.
It was just like fate almost.
The newlyweds had finished saying their I do's. After the ceremony, their photographer, looking for a better backdrop, brought them over to a river at a local park. It was a hot day and children were playing everywhere.
The couple was taking photos on this bridge when they noticed a child in distress in the water. The groom came running over to these rocks where he pulled the young boy out of the water alive.
His face was underwater and he was fighting, he was really fighting. Lucky he was only a little guy, and I could just get him I grabbed him sort of right here, and I just kind of honestly just sort of hucked him up.
Their photographer, Darren Hatt, captured the whole ordeal.
It was a commendable thing that he did, and he sprung into action incredibly quick. Almost as soon as I realized what was going on, he had already saved the day.
That's Clay. That's Clay to me. It doesn't even surprise me that happened. It's something he would just instinctively do.
The boy didn't say a word after Clayton pulled him out of the water, but two children nearby told the couple they pushed the boy in while they were playing.
We had asked them, we were like, where are your parents?
Eventually, the couple says an older sibling took the boy away. They're grateful today they're not telling a different story.
How different would everyone's day would have been if we were in the right place at the right time?
Considering that a good sign as they begin their life together.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. You're listening to the Kevin Jackson Show, and that was a clip from a husband and wife, obviously taking pictures. Husband sees the kid, springs into action, saves the kid. So there's some takeaways from this story. First, the man performed a selfless act, and that's a good thing. He probably ruined his tux in the process. I mean, it's good to have the story. But I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be, petty here. I'm just saying this guy jumps in the water in his tux. Is it rented? Is it his? I don't know. But it may be ruined. And he performs a selfless act. What, is it a few $100s? Is it zero? Is it a dry cleaning bill? Whatever. But he did it. He didn't just reach in and try to grab the kid. He jumps in the water, gets his kid out. You couldn't see the video, but that's what he did. There are pictures of him in the water, in the water getting this kid out. And if you're thinking at this point no good deed goes unpunished, well, there's more to the story. And this brings me to my second point. The child who was saved is a black kid. I couldn't say he's black, but he's a kid of color. And I'm not sure of what persuasion of color. Was he Mexican, Guatemalan, black, whatever? But he's undoubtedly a minority child. So this white man, you guys didn't know he was white. I'm just telling you that now. This white guy taking his wedding pictures in the park, goes over, looks and goes, holy crap, there's a kid of color drowning. He doesn't go, I'm going to ignore this. I didn't see that. No, he goes in, he springs into action, and he saves a child of color. Which brings me to my next point. Where the heck are the parents? I mean, this is a child playing in the park, And you don't know this except through the video. They tell you that he was playing with other kids, and I'm going to get to that point in just a second. But I'm pretty sure he wasn't completely unsupervised. I don't know whether he had one parent or both parents or whatever, but there are other kids with him. That's how he ended up in the water. So is there a group of kids, or is he just a latchkey? What's the story there? Which brings me to my next point. Friends of the child actually pushed him in the water. Unfortunately for the child, the friends didn't help him get out, or they maybe didn't even want him to get out. I don't know. I suggest this little boy remember this incident as a metaphor for his life. It was two little black kids. They looked like kids of color, but I don't know what color, what persuasion of color. But they're the kids that are with him. And when he gets out of the water, they all scurry away. And they all look like black kids, but I'm being very careful because I don't know. I mean, I'm being honest with you. They look like black kids. So two black kids push another little black kid in the water, do nothing. They don't run for help. They help us, help us, help. The dude just happens to be, they're panning to take a picture, and he goes, whoa, wait a minute, what's this? White guy goes, saves said kids, ruins his tuxedo, his shoes, and everything else, and his wedding pictures, by the way. And they feel good, as they should. They did their civic duty to get these kids, to safety. That particular kid to safety. And this brings me to my final point, and what the reporter said about the child. That he didn't even bother to thank the man for saving his life. The kid gets out of the water and he scurries away. And I couldn't give you a better metaphor for America than this story. You got a white guy who, without any thought, with no intention, with no motive, goes down and he saves a young black kid and gets the kid out of the water. Now, how did the kid get in trouble? From other blacks, his peers. They don't ask for help. They don't call for help. But the guy sees it. He gets some help at his own cost. I mean, there was no real peril. He was, deeper. He was taller than the water was deep. I don't know. Did he know that? I'm not going to try to get in his head in all that respect, but this is a guy that goes down, saves a black kid, not even thinking about it, not thinking about color, just doing the right thing, because that's what America's about, doing the right thing. And he saves the kid. Kid gets out of the water, and he just runs off and doesn't even say thank you. If you want to know why football players take a knee, black football players who believe themselves to be oppressed, and they take a knee, I just gave you the metaphor for exactly why it happens. And by the way, I'm going to prove to you that young black people are exactly what I said on TV and everywhere else, which is these people are being trained to be racist and to hate America and anybody that stands up for America. We got to take a short break. We'll be back in just a bit. Keep it here.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Just told a story of a groom who saved a young black child from drowning. And he was taking pictures at the park with his wife after their wedding. He ruins his tux. He saves the black kid. The black kid gets up and runs away, and probably called him a cracker. Y'all may chuckle at that, but it's the truth. It's probably true. I mean, I don't mean that part, but I'm saying metaphorically, it wasn't a care in the world. Didn't say, hey, thank you, Mr. White Man, for saving my life. Maybe the kid was in shock, right? No harm, no foul. But I know my kids would have thanked him. I know I, as a parent, would have thanked him, and the photographer for helping me avoid the shock of burying a child, particularly if I was the negligent party. I didn't see, there was nothing in that story. There wasn't a parent that came back and went, hey, white dude, thank you for saving my child. I don't even think the other kids were admonished. I doubt, here's something I'll tell you, I doubt that those kids went back and even told what happened. They probably just said, he fell in the water. I don't know any of that, but I'm speculating because I can't imagine. I'm at a park. My kids were playing, and the kids, almost drowns. The guy saves them. They run back over to me wet and tell me the story as it happened. And I didn't admonish the friends of my little son and say, why would you push my son in the water? Why would you not go get help? And why would you not let me, how could you do this? I feel like Rick Perry just now. I couldn't come up with something on the third one. but anyway, you get what I'm saying? Because if you told me that, I'm going, show me the man that did this. I'm going to look for him. Now, maybe you guys don't have that kind. I'm just using connective dot logic here. Were there no parents around? Because that's the only way. I don't go thank this man. I watched my grandmother lose her daughter in a routine women's, operation that she went in for a day surgery, and my grandmother get us from school, go pick my mom up to find out that my mother had died. I'll never forget that look. I was a kid, and I can still remember that look. So if you would avoid me burying one of my kids, hey, sign me up. So I know I'm thanking this guy. Nothing. Anybody think Black Lives Matter or whatever special interest minority group that applies will thank this white man for saving the life of a minority child? Will they celebrate him in any way? We posted a thing. I think this kid's name is Jonathan Smith. We posted a graphic of a young black kid in Vegas who they say saved about 30 lives. And he got shot in the neck, and the bullet may have to stay lodged because of where it's located. A selfless act. Now, Paddock and the Antifa crowd and the leftists and all the people that say, hey, pray that it was only Trump tards who died, things like this, or I don't really care who was killed, they were country music fans, so they were probably all conservatives. Do you think that they would look at little Jonathan, I say little, he's a 30-year-old man, and see what he did and feel that way? He almost got killed, and he didn't decide, you know what, that's just a bunch of old country white boys. I ain't going to worry about saving them. No, he did what Americans do. You think CNN or anybody else is going to run a profile on him to talk about how great this country is and how some young black men are amazing? They don't see color. They see tragedy and they run towards it. Let me tell you something. I don't know much about, what people want to do in terms of helping people. But if I was a guy running a major organization, I'd find a spot for that kid. My organization would hire him in a minute. We just don't have the funds. But that's a guy I want on my payroll. That white dude who saved that kid, that's a guy I want on my payroll. That's a guy who represents America. Jonathan is a guy who represents America, but not what the left wants you to know. And Black Lives Matter isn't going to celebrate him. They're not going to celebrate Jonathan. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson aren't going to celebrate Jonathan. They're certainly not going to celebrate this white boy. You think Barack Obama's going to come and give part of his Nobel Peace Prize money to either of these fellas? National Urban League? Congressional Black Caucus? Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, anybody, they'll all talk about the Vegas tragedy. They'll talk about the guns. They'll talk about all the other things, but they will miss the human element of all of it that makes us American. The number of selfless people who did. You're going to hear the stories. You're going to hear them from conservative outlets for the most part. And the only thing that the left will do, they'll feature, oh, this poor, beautiful white girl, she got killed. Her husband protected her. You'll hear the one or two stories around it. I was in the green room with John Rich, country and western guy, a singer, and John was regaling a story where he says his aunt called him to get tickets to the guy and his wife, who the guy ended up shielding his wife and he died. And he said, I think he said that the wife could hear the bullets hitting her husband in the back But he saved her life. And John feels horrible. He says, I heard him say, I got him tickets to come into the VIP to go through the whole deal. They get into the concert and then, they dead. Says he feels guilt. How could he feel guilt? He didn't do it. Anyway, I want to go back to this guy that saved these kids. This is a man who represents the thousands of stories, folks, that go unheralded every single day as the left offers false narratives of this country. That's who we are. That young black man who saved people in Las Vegas, saving white folks. That's who we are. Barack Obama's always, here's what he'll tell us. I remember when he would say, you don't want to let people into the border. I mean, that's just not who we are. That's not who we are. He's quick to tell us who we're not. So what are we? You've witnessed what we are. You know what we are. How do you allow them to define what we are or what we not are? I look at these stories and I go, we gotta do a better job of getting the word out about stuff like this. And not only that, those are the heroes. See, Hollywood's going to go run away. Vegas will be done, and they'll be planning their next gala, and they're going to give a bunch of nonsense to people who don't matter. Black football players, they're going to run off with their trophy wives and their girlfriends and their whatevers, their boyfriends, and they're going to go get some stupid award that's meaningless, but they're going to feel like it's a big deal. They're going to think they went to war. I heard Tom Brady or something. My guys, we come out on this field and we leave it all behind. And blah, blah. If you leave it all behind, why ain't somebody dead? Because let me tell you, there are guys that go out in this world on our behalf and they leave it all behind. And that means they got a flag. That thing that the Chicago school board member called toilet paper draped over their coffins. They leave it all on the field, Tom Brady. And I like Tom Brady, but I just want to, let's not get it twisted. One day, I hope this kid who got saved by this white man realizes the gravity of what happened. I hope he seeks out the man who saved his life and thanks him for doing what nobody else could have done for him in that moment. And I hope that kid understands the selfless act by a man who didn't look at this kid's skin color, but just his need, and he acted on it. It reminds me of the that theater shooting, you remember, that occurred in was it Colorado? And it was a young black man who shielded a woman and her children as the boyfriend ran out. And he got shot. The kid got shot. And I'm thinking, why don't we have award shows for him? Why don't we have reward shows for the guys who stand on that sideline in the NFL? By the way, I'm not going to help the NFL out. In as much as all these guys overwhelmingly do not support the nonsense of Kaepernick and his peers, there are many of them who say, to heck with them, I'm standing. But when they root it out, then I'll believe it. But here's my point. We still need to honor these men because they're going against the grain. When do we, as a movement, start saying, we're not going to look at award shows that honor people who are multimillionaires playing games. We're going to honor people who do things that showcase the American spirit. How about that? You remember that kid that stood alone? His entire football team stayed in the locker room while the national anthem was played, and this kid came out. He's the Villanueva of college football. You remember this kid? Or maybe he was high school. No, I think it was college. That's a hero to me. That's a guy we should be showcasing, and we should have award shows featuring these people. Best Supporting American.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I talked yesterday about these lying leftists. I talked about Brian Williams making stuff up, Hillary Clinton, people who have built careers on lying. They thrive on chaos, these leftists do. There's a name for this disorder. Scientists call it leftism. That's the clinical definition. But, the question... And I was talking about this USC professor who went wacky. But the question when I saw that story was, how many wacky professors are there? Wacky professor stories abound, folks. I can tell you this, since I've been doing this since 2009, there's not a month that I can give you a story for every month since 2009 of a wacky professor. Somebody who says God is white, somebody who says God is black, somebody who says God is racist, somebody who says Barack Obama is God, somebody who says Trump is the devil. I could go on the litany of things. They talk about white privilege, they talk about black angst, not an iota of evidence to back any of their stuff up, and yet they've got PhDs. It's become such a joke when people say, Dr. So-and-so. I'm like, oh, really, doctor? Well, congratulations, doctor. These doctors know nothing. You are smarter than 98% of these academics. And I'm leaving out the people that are in the STEM programs, science, technology, engineering, and math. Not that they're so smart, because we've seen them do dumb things as well. But from a technology standpoint, it's tough to say, yeah, you're smarter than a mathematician in math. But when it comes to life, and you're talking about politics, there's not a political science professor that I'm not willing to go toe-to-toe with. And they've got all the educational training. They've got the historical background of all this stuff. And I promise you, if you put me in front of them, I will absolutely embarrass them over simple issues. Whether we're talking about the impact of global warming on blah, 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 or fossil fuels in general versus green energy, or, crime, by way of race and statistics and all. Man, give me 5 minutes to just gather my thoughts. Honestly, I don't even need it. I would probably just go get me a Coke and a couple of tacos for the short debate that's going to happen, and it would be done. They call themselves academics. Anyway, and I profiled this lady. And students said the professor was having a mental breakdown at the scene. She shouted to her students, "Take cover! Take cover!" And it just, every time I think about how many of these people are clinically insane. I mean, look, we're brushing over this John McCain brain thing, but ask yourself this: McCain, war vet, comes back, and quite frankly, he had all the things to make his life easy, but he becomes a senator and he makes promises, and then what's he do? He backfires on him. It's almost like the nutty, I wouldn't say nutty professor, but the nutty old millionaire, old miser. Like, I'll fool him into thinking I'm for this, and then I'll change. And because his mind's gone. And people are afraid to touch this. They're like, well, Kevin, he's a war veteran and he's struggling with his brain disease. And his brain disease is penalizing us. These teachers, these academics, the standard is, the bar is so low, it's like they get tenure and that's it. They become crazy, making things up. And I talked about Hillary Clinton, shot down, and Brian Williams lies through his teeth, ends up back on TV. They're trying to regain his credibility. He's the same dude. Just dishonest. Anyway, Professor Wacko is who this one, these people, we subject our kids to the most vile humans on the planet. College professors, these are people certifiable by and large, likely from the years of incest of thought. And we send our kids to them, and we expect them to be good, solid citizens. I've given you guys statistics. I don't know the numbers specifically, but it's an overwhelming number of kids go to college. They're, religious. They believe in church all the time, etc. And they get out of college within a year. They don't even know what the inside of a church looks like. And I'm not just blaming the academics, the whackademics. I'm blaming the college system that says, challenge everything. Prove to me there's a God. Well, I would say, prove to me that there's not one. But we send our kids to these colleges, and here's what the colleges do. The future of your child is in the hands of multiple people. X number of classes that you're going to take in your collegiate career. And any one of those classes, if you're interested, if you're a student and you want, you're scholarly and you care about your GPA, etc., is about your future. So you send your lovely young lady to school, Professor digs her, and then he says, he's an older guy in a position of authority, makes a pass. She starts to waver a bit. And instead of him saying, what, I'm your teacher, he's like, not only that, it'll give you a leg up in class, pardon the pun. And he then invites her to come hang out with him, have sex. This is not what you send your kid to school for. And trust me when I tell you, folks, it's well known within academic circles that that's one of the perks. One of the perks is the young co-eds. It might be your son. And I'm not talking about female teachers necessarily. They're vile human beings. And I think after years of indoctrination, after years of watching their own behaviors, you know what happens? I think they snap. I think something inside of them, oh my gosh, what? And then they just become crazy. And I could give you story after story. Here's what I could do. I have it in my system where I could just say, Wackademia, and it'll pull up every article I've ever mentioned that. And I promise you, I could do an entire week of shows on crazy academics that we've profiled over the years. Maybe we'll do it as a Christmas show. But it bothers me because this teacher, this USC professor, goes crazy. They won't tell you the name. It's not a minor. This person's not a minor. No, we cannot reveal the name because it might, impugn the teacher's reputation. Really? So she can go out, duck students, and create complete havoc on campus. And everybody's like, well, let's not out the teacher. You can bet if that teacher had any conservative leanings or whatever, this teacher would be outed so fast you wouldn't even, it would be too quick. It'd be quick. It'd be quicker than that explanation of how quick it would be. Tortured explanation, I should say. LA Deputy Chief Philip Tingereeds said the professor, who was not identified, told her students to lock the door and get on the floor. Then she began yelling, "Active shooter!" The students became fearful and began texting and calling friends, telling them there was an active shooter on campus. Now, I want you to imagine you're a parent. Your kids are texting to let people know we're under fire over here. given the backdrop of Vegas, given the backdrop of Wackademia and what's been happening on these college campuses, if you're a parent or a concerned person for anybody on these campuses, you have to be, oh my gosh, what's going on? He said, many alerted police who responded to the campus immediately. LAPD officers and officials with the USC Department of Public Safety searched the campus, focusing mainly on Fertitta Hall. The search netted no evidence of a shooting or a shooter, and all clear was subsequently declared. The professor they put into LAPD custody. We're trying to figure out, this is what the guy says, trying to figure out what is our best course of action with her. What do we do? They won't tell you her name. You don't know her class. This lady is going to be teaching students, trust me, within days. They'll go, well, we didn't tell her. She's on her medication now, on her lithium, or whatever it may be. And all is good. Because you know what? It's all under control now. Don't feel bad. The next time she does a thing, she sounds the alarm bell or whatever, we'll ignore it. They're not going to fix her. Are you thinking they're going to fix her? No, she's not getting fixed and she's not getting punished. That's not what the left do to each other.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. We are being lectured. That's right. We're being lectured, conservatives. We're the bad guys. Want to know why? Because we like guns. Well, most of us do anyway. I grew up around guns. I understand the safety, but because we like them, we're the bad guys. I've never seen anybody demonize people for having an object. It's like saying, I have a hammer. I've never killed anybody with it. I'm actually a carpenter. Or I have a nail gun. I don't kill people with my nail gun, but if somebody does, well, it makes you bad. Lots of hammer deaths. More hammer deaths every year than death by so-called assault weapons. True story. Almost 500 hammer deaths a year, less than 200, quote, assault rifle weapon deaths. And of those, most of them are in the hood, gangbangers killing gangbangers. But nobody talks about the hammer. If you say, I have a hammer, people don't go, you terrible hammer owner, what are you doing with a hammer? My God, I would never let a hammer in my house. They don't say that. And it kills more people than assault rifles. Wow. Who knew? I knew. Oh, my goodness. So we're getting schooled. We're getting told how to feel about gun ownership. I love this kid, Trevor Noah, been in the United States 2 years from Australia. And Trevor Noah knows more about our way of life, our culture as Americans, than we do. Why shouldn't we take a listen to him? Trevor Noah, he knows it all, right? Here's his comparison. You got to hear this. Here's his comparison to guns and how he grew up and how he would handle a situation.
I woke up this morning to the devastating news coming out of Las Vegas. Another mass shooting. This time, somehow even deadlier than all the other mass shootings. And they say that this was the worst in American history, but every shooting is the worst for someone. And you know what blew my mind this morning is when I realized that I've lived in the U.S., in New York, for 2 years now, right? And in that time, there have been 20 mass shootings. 20 mass shootings in the U.S. What's been particularly heartbreaking is, other than the lives lost, is how I feel like people are becoming more accustomed to this type of news. Every single time. I almost know how it's going to play out. We're shocked, we're sad, thoughts and prayers, and then almost on cue, people are going to come out saying, whatever you do when speaking about the shootings, don't talk about guns.
Talking about gun control and whether we need more restrictive laws, I just don't think that that's an appropriate time for this to be happening.
There's a time and place for a political debate, but now is the time to unite as a country.
this is not the time to be talking about guns. Sometimes I wish I had used this logic as a kid when I'd done something wrong. You know, my mom wanted to ground me. I should have just said, is this the time, Mom, that we politicize what's happening right now? This is not the time to talk about my lack of discipline. This is the time for us to unite as a family, to focus on the fact that I'm stuck in the kitchen window trying to sneak back in. Come on, Mom. This is not the time.
I love, you may have got a little chuckle out of that, right? It's a funny line. If you're just a comedian. The problem is when you talk about something serious where people lost their lives versus, say, breaking a lamp, or did you take the money on the counter? Yeah. Ha 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 ha, Trevor. Funny. Yeah. People lost their lives, and the first thing that the left wants to do is they want to talk to you about the inanimate object that did it. They don't want to talk to you about the real issue. See, what Trevor's trying to get you to understand is that, you know, the subterfuge that he would do as a kid is meant to, you know, to throw his parents off. Well, was it about the gun? Was it about breaking the lamp? Well, I mean, that wasn't about a gun. It was about breaking a lamp or stealing a little bit of cash or something, right? Or not. Did you have friends over? No, I didn't. There is no subterfuge in not talking about the gun. You understand? The subterfuge is in not talking about the idiot who used the gun. And it's so clever how they do it. Yeah, and he couches it in humor that even you go, it is funny. Yeah, it is funny. But the subterfuge of what Trevor did, well, yeah, Mom, I broke we shouldn't really focus on me breaking the lamp or me bringing the girl home or whatever. Is that really what we should be focused on right now in this moment where we need to bring our family together? I wonder if Trevor would say that if he strangled his little brother. It happens. I wonder if Trevor would say that if he were a kid who killed his neighbor's daughter. Would he be saying that then? Look, we had a tragedy that has nothing to do with the gun. Nothing. It was the object used. And do you think Trevor's going to condemn the Muslim who ran over people in Nice that killed 83 people and wounded like close to 500? Yeah, they always like to measure to the left. Let's measure. Let's see. Well, whose is worse? And he counts them. We had 20 shootings since I've moved here in New York. Hey, Trevor, when did this become an issue for you? Was it an issue when Barack Obama was president, or is it just an issue now? Oh, and by the way, why are you just covering it during a tragedy? Why didn't you cover it on 19? Why didn't you cover it then? Was it not big enough? He says there's been 20 since. This is number 20. Well, what happened to 19, 18, 17, 16? When did you decide that guns was going to become your issue in America? And I don't even think the kid is an American. They're so, God, these guys drive me crazy in the sense that they have no knowledge base for any of this. They certainly aren't going to look at the statistics. And here's the really bad part. The really bad part is they don't care about the facts. They don't. They care about the narrative. This makes Trevor more popular. Trevor Noah more popular with his base. When they're sitting around writing the show, you can bet those writers are going, what's it take to keep us on the air? Who are we? Do you watch his show? I don't watch his show. Why should he cater to me? And he doesn't. I play his clips for educational purposes because I promise you I wouldn't play it otherwise. I don't care about this guy. I don't want him to see the light of day in terms of getting more press coverage for his show or anything else. They're just dweebs. Anyway, we got a lot coming up.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Special good wishes to those watching from Las Vegas, where you know what happened on Sunday night. I'm not going to get deep into it again tonight. I said what I had to say last night, but I do want to say something to these nuts who spent most of the day today on television and online attacking those of us who think we need to do something about the fact that 59 innocent people were killed. They say it's inappropriate to be talking about it because it's too soon. Well, maybe it's too soon for you because deep down inside, you know, in your heart, you know you bear some responsibility for the fact that almost anyone can get any weapon they want. Now you want to cover yourself until the storm of outrage passes. You can go back to your dirty business as usual, but it's not too soon for us because we're Americans, and last time I checked, the First Amendment is at least as important as the Second Amendment. So we will talk about it. And shame on you for suggesting we do otherwise.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255. So I wrote a book called Race Pimping, but you could call it gun pimping. You could call it whatever. Pick your amendment, 1st, 2nd, 4th, 10th, whatever it may be. It's all pimping. Jimmy Kimmel, and I've asked this question, when did this guy become the purveyor of all things political? We got to hear about his kid and the heart condition, and I feel for any parent whose kid goes through that. If my kid had a heart condition, I'd be upset about it. But I wouldn't be hawking Obamacare over it. I wouldn't take my own just limited personal situation and go, this could have been like that or this. I mean, look, I get it. I do understand people thinking they're helping. Jimmy Kimmel, guy's got money to do whatever he wants to do, but his kid gets sick or whatever. And, I think about all the people who couldn't do it. Did you think about all the people that couldn't do it, that squandered their lives? Is it that they couldn't do it, or is it that they didn't do it? And I know that's the age-old question. Kevin, you don't want to help anybody. You're just heartless. That's completely false. I want to help everybody. But you know who I won't help? I won't help people who are lazy. I won't help people who have their hand out. They just expect help. Feel, here's the word, entitled. You're not entitled to anything. I tell my sons all the time, especially my youngest, because he's obviously home. I say to him, look, buddy, it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how handsome you are. People are going to help you if you show a good attitude. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the best looking. You don't have to be anything-ist. All you got to be is personable and show a willingness. That's what people want. I talk about it all the time when I'm training kids. I've trained more kids in the martial arts, and there are some of them I love that kid. There's a kid that plays on my son's baseball team. His name is Cole. Cole is the worst athlete on the planet. Poor kid. Wears these really thick glasses. He's very short, probably the shortest kid on the team. And little wiry legs. He's not fast. He's got no coordination. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Cole should have been, 8 years old and 7 feet. He's so gangly looking. You know what I mean? He's little, but he's gangly looking. But I love this kid. Oh my gosh. This kid tries so hard. He will not. I'll say, Cole, you get up there and show him what you can do. And he'll look out in the crowd and give me a thumbs up. I mean, an aggressive, like, yeah. And if he strikes out, I'll say, Cole, you went down swinging. And he'll look at me like, yeah. I absolutely adore this kid. His dad won't let me, but I would take this kid and make him into a champion. His dad might let me, actually. I haven't asked him. But, his dad loves his kid. He's not going to let him come live with me to make him into a champion, but he might. I'll get back with you guys on that. But you know what I love about this kid? I love his attitude. He's undaunted. He misses a ball in the field. You know what? The other day, it was so thrilling. They threw a guy out at second base, and he's not reliable catching the ball. He caught that ball and hung onto it like a lobster claw. Oh. And then in the outfield, they hit him a ball. He caught that ball. I was shocked. I mean, it was an easy ball for anybody else on the team, but got hit to Cole, and everybody in the audience was, and he caught it. And it was like, whoa! And I'm congratulating this kid. You would think this kid is mine. Seriously. I care about him, but it's his attitude. That's what I care about. Anyway, these leftists that believe that they know so much. Jimmy Kimmel, if you took Jimmy Kimmel out hunting or said, I tell you what, Jimmy, I'm going to take you out into the wilderness, drop you off, here's your knife, here's your gun, now go survive. Knife and a gun. I don't think he could do it. These guys, they're so spoon-fed. They are cellophane and styrofoam. That's where I get my meat in the grocery store type people. They see guns as evil. They don't see people as evil. It's funny to me that Jimmy Kimmel can talk about guns for an entire monologue, but he won't say a word. Well, the guy, he's obviously deranged, but he got his hands on a gun. Oh, okay, so a deranged guy took some sort of a weapon and killed people, and you blame the weapon? God, when do these people wake up? And they're influencing so many folks. And you know what? We don't have any way to push back. And I've talked about this before. Guns are one of these issues where the left is divided. Black folks, tell black people you don't need a gun. Tell them that. In the hood. It's like this heroin dealer that they go, that cop planted a gun. It's just amazing how he planted that gun. And I'm always like, really? Okay, so because we all know that heroin dealers don't have a gun. Sure. Because you guys have heard me talk about this, but when a guy was arguing with me about it, I said, where was the other gun? And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, you claim they planted a gun. How many guns did they find? One. Oh, so they found the planted gun, correct? Yes. Okay. Where was the other gun? He's like, what? I go, oh, well, you what you want me to believe is a dude dealing heroin in a black neighborhood, meeting people to do his heroin deals, doesn't have a gun. Is that what you're trying to tell me? And then he got it. Oh. And I said, yeah, oh. So unless they find a second gun, you explain to me, is this the nicest heroin dealer in the hood? Because he shouldn't call himself a dealer. He should call himself the heroin gifter, because nobody's going to pay him. If he doesn't have the ability to show some gat, he ain't going to get, he's just giving heroin. He's the heroin deliverer. Nobody pays him. And he's got to be able to show, I'll shoot you. And believe me, that dude got a rap sheet longer than a Polish woman's last name. Don't even talk to me about this. And then the guy's like, well, man, I mean, yeah, you got me there. I know I got you. Gun control. Jimmy Kimmel can talk gun control, security, lives in great neighborhoods, hobnobs, gets picked up by other people. Who knows? But he'll talk gun control, all right. Just not his.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Let's talk midterms here a little bit. You've got an opportunity. Yeah. What are the chances of the Democrats taking back the House?
Very excellent. And I say that, but I would not have said it like 6 months ago, because 6 months ago, we would not have known what the president's number would be in October. I always say to people, just see where the president, whatever party is, a year before the election. And Clinton, he won, we lost. Bush, president, his numbers went down, we won. Obama, his numbers went down, they won. And now this president, we don't even have to take his numbers down. He is self-immolating. And so at this point is when, if any of your listeners were planning to run for Congress or office, any office, and the president of your party was below 50 or 40, you might say, I'll run another time.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it. As Nancy Pelosi, talking about the Democrats' chances in 2018, I've already made the prediction, folks. The Democrats lose more House seats again, and the Republicans will soundly take over the Senate in 2018. That's what's going to happen. And what's funny is to listen to the rationale of a person like Pelosi, who says, look at these polling numbers. And it's funny, what's even funnier than that is that after having their butts kicked over the poll numbers, they still rely on them, and they still believe that it can be sold that way. Now, we talked about a poll number the other day. The poll number was what percentage of people believe the NFL, I don't know, what is it, that taking a knee was a good or a bad thing. And originally it was like 68%, it was a big majority, said it was the wrong thing for those players to do. Then I saw a USA Today poll that said, this is literally a week later, now it's 50-50. Now, I want to just stop, in other words, it wasn't 50-50, but it was like 52-48. So it had slid tremendously in a week to where Democrats were saying, no, we're gaining ground on taking a knee during the national anthem in the NFL. And I said, okay, well, that's good news to hear. So what happened in the NFL? In the NFL, you had 9 people take a knee. When Trump came out with his statement, 200 plus people took a knee. That's what I heard. I don't know. I thought it was 100, but it's 200, somebody said. Then I think they said 18 people, or maybe it was 11, somewhere between 10 to 20 people took a knee in the last football game. So it spiked up under Trump, and then it quickly went down. Quickly. Now, these poll numbers say otherwise. These poll numbers say, no. People are really starting to, hear the NFL's message, and it's all good. We're winning. That's what Pelosi wants you to believe. Now, if they were winning, do you believe that the NFL would be saying to these owners, hey, look, you might want to write a letter to your season ticket holders because ticket sales have fallen off almost 18%. Do you believe that sponsors like DirecTV would say, due to the onrush of orders, cancellations, we are going to honor these because of what the NFL is doing, and they allow them to do that? The sponsorships, I don't need to give you the names. Right now, one of the biggest sponsors of NFL, period, Budweiser, is considering pulling its sponsorship from the NFL. Hotline number you can call. You can leave your message. I tried to. It didn't work for me the other day, but I tried to. So all this evidence, players losing endorsements, and on and on. And I'm not talking one or two. Many, many players losing endorsement. If you did not stand for the anthem, you lost endorsements. Period. It's that simple. So all that empirical evidence, and these guys say, nope, we got a good chance. So, and then, or the NFL believes it's the article, according to Yahoo, I believe it was Yahoo, it says that the NFL is in good shape. It stands on the moral ground. People are, following the polls and all that. Nancy Pelosi says, you know what? 2018 is going to be our year, blah, blah, blah. They're delusional. They're absolutely delusional. And I got to tell you, I love this. I love this early confidence. And I went through the litany of things that Donald Trump has done so far in this economy. Can't be overstated. Donald Trump has done so. I have, look, do you even follow the stock market and all that? I turn it on occasionally. Whenever I'm going to be on, most of the time when I see the stock market is because I'm doing Risk and Reward or some show, and they happen to have the ticker up, because when I go into the studio, they'll have whatever show I'm going to be on, and I'll see the numbers. And every time I go in there, I see better numbers. I believe this New York Stock Exchange has set 45 or 49 records. The NASDAQ or one of the other exchanges has set 54 records since Donald Trump has been elected. Records. Record highs. 54. 49. So, rock star status. You're going to see in 2018, I'll make you a prediction. The unemployment number will be probably under 4%. The economy will be booming at a level we haven't seen in at least 5 decades. 4 decades, 4 to 5. And you're going to have people spending money. You're going to have companies bringing back investments. You name it, it's going to be happening. And this is in spite of the Democrats fighting tooth and nail. These guys are going to fight the president on his tax policy, and whether he gets it or not, he's still going to create jobs. And the money may stay offshore for a while until he makes probably an executive order that says you can bring that money back and put it into the bank, and earn interest. Or he'll do something to bring that money back and start the process moving. Guarantee it. When he finally repeals Obamacare and implements whatever he's implementing, and for the record, the death of Obamacare might come in his executive order where he says you can now get insurances over state lines. That may be the death of Obamacare, nail in the coffin. But I can't wait for 2018 when the results of a Trump economy have kicked in. I mentioned the trade deficit shrinking to its lowest rate in almost a decade, pre-election rate, and it will. And by the time of 2018, you will see a trade deficit that is going to be monumentally small in comparison to anything that Obama did. And I want you to think about that. We have a $567 billion trade deficit, over $500 billion. And if he gets that down to something reasonable, just what do you think's going to happen? And when products are being bought in the United States, it won't be $500 billion, but let's say it's $200 million that we get back. We cut off of our trade deficit. $200 billion circulating through the economy. He's already got $1.2 trillion, I think was the number that I've seen, that has come back and cutting red tape. What happens when that red tape is cut for Obamacare? What happens when the tax policy simplifies? Just telling you folks, you're going to see boom time. So left, keep playing your games. Keep dreaming that you're going to win. Let's just see what happens. We have time for that other Pelosi clip. It's on a different subject, so we probably shouldn't play it. Maybe we'll come back in with that. All right. It works for me. So, look, I want to, at some point, we're going to chronicle all the things that happened during the time of Obama, like our credit rating being lowered. I can't wait to come back on here and make the announcement that the credit rating is back up. It's AAA again. That's going to be big news. There's so many things that you could talk about with this economy that's no longer smoke and mirrors, that's for real, that it's hard for me to believe that anybody would actually want to fight Trump over this. But when you think about that, think about those NFL players kneeling. Think about the left wanting to see Trump people dead in Las Vegas, and you'll get an idea of why Trump can't pass. He's going to have to finagle and get people to finally go, enough is enough. Now, I keep talking about this because this is one of the most important parts of the concept. He can't do it by himself. He flatly can't. Sharp guy, going to push the legislation thing, but if he senses any weakness in his base, he's got to shift. And we don't want that. So let's get involved. We're talking about tax policy. Understand it. Be able to explain it. Let people know this is for our good.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Fellow at the Robert J. Dole Institute of Politics, and I will argue, debate any point with any of the knuckleheads that want to challenge conservatism in any of the things that we've been talking about now. Circular, it's so cyclic, it's sickening, for decades. And of course, the one that we're talking about now is gun control. And every time there's a shooting, we talk about gun control. I'm talking about a shooting like this. There's never a talk of gun control when somebody accosts a regular person. And what about when we find out that that person has an illegal weapon? How many illegal weapons do we have in this country? I would love to see that number. The number of illegal versus legal weapons. And then I'd like to know how many crimes legal guns are involved in versus illegal. And then I'd like to know who is committing these crimes. I'm talking about political ideology. Not just, it was a lady to kill this dude or a dude to kill this, whatever. No. I want to know politics. I want to know color. I want to know all the stats that the left wants to regale us with when they want to get their way. And you all know why I want to know this. Because we know who's committing these crimes. I already know. Look, I don't know the numbers, but I will tell you this. The number of guns that are illegally obtained and committed and used in crimes is astronomically bigger than the number of guns that are legal and used in crimes. Legal guns involved in crimes are generally crimes of passion or things like that. People don't, I'm going to go rob a liquor store and take my gun with me, my legally licensed gun. And of course, the reason why I want to know the political affiliation of the person committing the gun crime is because I already know the answer. It's going to be a Democrat. It's going to be a leftist. If they're not registered, if you talk to them, they will tell you, I lean more to the left. If I were to vote, I would vote Democrat. And then I want to know the other stats. I want to know the ethnicity. I want to be able to say to you definitively that the far number of crimes committed with guns are with young black thugs. Now, I'm not trying to condemn young black thugs necessarily. If it turned out it was with Mexican banditos, I'd be okay with that. If it turns out it's with white boys, I'd be okay with that. But let me make you a bet. If they do get you the numbers on gun crimes, who commits them, etc., it will be per capita, maybe outright young black perps. Now, I also want to know gender, because they're talking about, well, we won't know one thing about the gun control issue. It's always going to be men. Okay, maybe so. But what kind of men? I want to know per capita, because if we're going to start dogging men, I believe they're going to have to start dogging black men. And I want to see leftists start dogging black men. See, if it turned out statistics were bad for black men, I'd tell you. And I dog black men. I don't mind dogging black men. Here's the problem. If I dog black men, I'm dogging myself. I happen to be a black man. Now, I don't commit crimes with illegal guns or with legal guns. I, for the most part, don't commit crimes, not anything I know of. So if I'm not committing crimes and I'm dogging black men, I want the problem solved. I don't want to be associated with a group that they go, well, Kevin, your propensity of your group is to commit more crimes. I already know that. That's why I work hard. I should say hard, not to be, it isn't I'm running from black men. It's that I don't want to be associated with a group where they go, he kills cops, he deals drugs, he doesn't take care of his kids. Now, I'm not. None of those things apply to me. I could shut up and just go, whatever. But I don't, because I don't want it to apply to my sons, who happen to be young black men, except for one of them who's a boy, but he'll be a man one day. So let's force these guys. You want to be all statistical, Mr. Government? I would say to Donald Trump, use statistics against the left. They have demagogue statistics in their favor for decades. It's time we come back with this. That's what I say. But let's talk guns for a bit. The hard truth in mass shootings that do occur periodically, and we talk about the, quote, gun epidemic for a while, only 98 deaths in 2016 from, quote, mass shootings, out of the approximately 34,000 gun deaths that America suffers each year. Now, I don't know how many people die from cancer or high cholesterol or whatever, but I can tell you this, I don't see the left talking about banning, if you serve trans fats. Well, I shouldn't say that they aren't doing that, but they aren't taking a hard enough stance. I bet you more people die from, fat heart disease or heart attacks or whatever than these gun numbers. But here's what's really interesting about the gun deaths, and this is going to put a wrinkle in the whole thing. 2/3 of the 34,000 gun deaths come from suicides. Over 20,000 deaths a year from suicides, not homicides. So you take those 20,000, it's a little bit more, but let's just say 20,000, 14,000 deaths, mostly in Chicago. I'm just kidding, but a lot of them. 14,000 deaths occur at the hands of somebody else, a homicide. So if you look at those numbers, 14,000 deaths from homicides, and then you say that, we go look at those statistics that I mentioned earlier, who's doing it, what's the political affiliation, and what's the gender, what's the ethnicity of the perp, etc. That's what we're driving in on, this 14,000 deaths. Now, I asked the question earlier, do you think that Jimmy Kimmel or I think Rosanna Arquette, the other girl, one of those Arquette chicks, she chimed in and say something about the gun. Again, nobody giving any credence to the person behind the weapon. I haven't seen, most of these celebrities are like, they pretended. What are you talking about? It's the gun, man. If he didn't have that gun, he couldn't do it. Yeah, he could. The 20,000 suicides that happened in this country, if they didn't have guns, they'd do something else. Just the facts. Anyway, they said, this is what Bernie Sanders said, and I'll give a quote from him in just a second, but they were trying to get somebody on the left to take on the mantle of gun control. And in this article, they say this: any serious attempt to address gun violence at the source has to address the accessibility of handguns. But what you mostly hear from gun control proponents, even from the farthest left edge of the Democratic Party, are the more politically palatable but narrower policies for a stronger background check system and an assault weapons ban. It's not going to solve the problem of gun violence, not even close. And this person's correct. The overwhelming majority of gun violence, if you will, is in handguns. And it's illegal handguns. They won't add that to it. It's not from legal. And the assault weapons, I've told you guys this for I don't know how long. The number of people killed with assault weapons is so minuscule. More people are killed by hammers. I always use this statistic because it's funny to me. I don't know why it's weird, but it is a weird one. More people are killed in bus accidents by far than in assault weapons. With an assault weapon. It's crazy. It's exponential. It's hundreds versus thousands every year. But you don't hear a single leftist talking about don't ride the bus or how do we improve bus safety? They don't do it. So they say there's an opening for a Democrat willing to ignore the polling data, dismiss the fretting about gun-happy white working-class voters, suffer the wrath of the NRA, stake a claim as a champion of sweeping gun control. But there's no guarantee anyone will want to take it. Yeah, because anybody that would take that position is going to lose, and rightfully so. See, this is what I want to explain to you folks. People know deep down in their psyche when something is right versus wrong. The left won't touch this. And if we treat every issue like we treat gun control, they'll stop touching those too. This is the most stupid, specious argument amongst litany of others, but this one's one of the largest.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Laura Ingraham said something pretty profound. She says, Democrats always go for less freedom, more government restrictions, except when it comes to drugs, abortion, and pornography. Welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com. Laura couldn't be more right. When it comes to indulging all of the what do we call them? The vices of men. The left want complete indulgence. And they get mad at you when you're, sanctimonious. If you're a Bible thumper and you're like, that pornography. They're like, who are you to tell me what I can do with my body? And I say, well, I don't know, maybe the government. Because as much as you love, pornography and sexualizing youngsters and things like this, the government tells you things like, well, it's okay that you want to be, Sandra Fluck, and I'll leave it at that. But you cannot sell yourself. unless we make money off of it. And I always find that kind of funny. When I talk to feminists, I go, like, it's my body. And I go, okay, well then why don't you go sell it? I want you to go to City Hall and I want you to say, I'm a call girl. And for, $200 for 15 minutes or, $1,000 for the hour, whatever, I'm yours for $1,000 and go announce that to judges or lawyers or doctors or whomever. See what happens. If it's your body and you can do what you want. However, if you were to go to, say, the Mustang Ranch and do it, you could do it. And here's the reason why you can, young lady, because the government gets their cut. Now that should be insulting to you. What do you mean the government gets a cut of what I do with my body? I know. It's your body. You should be able to do what you want. I'm a libertarian. I don't care what you do with your body. There are guys that go, well, I'm date a girl. I take her out for dinner. It costs me $250. If I get laid, what do I do? I spend, $125 for it, really. Okay, well, that's a Neanderthal way of thinking about it, but I get it. There are women that go, shoot, I may not be like getting no money for it, but he take me out to dinner. It's $250. I figure $125 is mine. I got mine. Why not? Okay. It's a bit of a Neanderthal's woman way of thinking about it, but whatever. Yeah. I'm just saying, if we're going to have honest discussions about this and women, it's my body and I'll do what I want with my baby. Yeah, as long as I can abort your baby and then sell the baby parts. Oh, and the byproduct is I'm aborting bad babies. Yeah. The dregs of society. The human weeds. Let's just talk about it. What'd I say? What'd I say? Feel like that scene in the Firm where the guy's like, look, I know you got other clients, you got the boys, from Chicago, but I feel like I don't want to lose any money. What'd I say? What'd I say? When Gene Hackman looks at him like, don't bring up the mafia. Yeah, I know, we're the lawyers to the mafia. Don't bring that up. Hey, speaking of Gene Hackman, one of my good friends said Gene Hackman is in terrible shape. Not going to be around much longer. Hollywood buddy of mine. Knows him well. Been in films with him. Hate to say that. Anyway, back to this it's my body thing. Government, the left believe that government is all about, I want gun control. I want all this kind of control. But don't control my drugs, don't control my abortions, and don't control my pornography. And then the government goes, oh, no, your drugs are illegal. You can't have your drugs. You can't control my drugs. I'll tell you what I'll do. You pay a tax on it, and I'll give you your drugs. If you abort your baby and I can sell the parts, make some money, I'll let you do your abortions. Oh, you want to be an adult entertainer or whatever? As long as I can make money, you can do it. So they think they're free. Look at the government lets me do. I'm amazing. The government's like, yeah, I'll let you do. Sure. And I'm the type to go, look, if you want to sell your body, you should be able to sell it. Well, Kevin, you don't know what you're going to get if somebody starts selling their body. Really? You don't know what you're going to get if somebody gives you their body. That's the argument. We'll make it safer. We'll regulate these girls out at the Mustang Ranch. You understand that they've got to go through health checks and all kinds of stuff. Okay, great. So at the Mustang Ranch, the only place for safe sex is at the Mustang Ranch in Las Vegas, because everywhere else, what's going on? The world. And government can't control the world. So it can no more control any of this. Government outlaws, prostitution, and it says, well, if you're a guy and I catch you with that woman, well, that's dangerous behavior. The dangerous behavior might be his old lady at the house that finds out, because it ain't any more dangerous than anybody else doing what they do. If government legalized stuff and then got out of the way and said, look, there's a lot of stuff out there, you better be protected. Personally, I'll tell you not to do it, whatever. But they don't, because they want their cut. That's why they don't like Uber. That's why they don't like you. Because you're always looking for a workaround. You're going, what do you mean you get this much? You shouldn't have that much. Government is a horrible partner. Government isn't going to go out there and work that corner in the Las Vegas sun. It's not going to work that corner in Wisconsin in the winter. You know what I mean? But it's going to expect its cut. Period. Government has to operate. It wants its money. You are meant to be a producer. And it doesn't matter how it gets its money. And I can tell you, government will entertain all your vices if you pay them. So I just want to be very clear with people that when they start, these leftists, because they tell me, oh, it's about this or it's about my freedom. You really think drugs are about your freedom? Yeah, as I've said many times, you're traipsing along through the woods and you see a mushroom and you want to lick it, or a frog and you lick it and you trip out and you're like, oh, like LSD. And the government's there going, what are you doing licking that frog? First of all, I don't know who would lick a frog to begin with, but somebody licked the frog and tripped and told somebody else and they tripped. And then when they took whatever it was making you trip and they put it on a little piece of paper and made it LSD, then the government went, you can't be doing that. That's illegal. Why is it illegal? Why? Because I commercialize it? Look, I don't care what you do. That's my whole point of it. That's the whole point of conservatism. If you want to trip about licking a frog, trip. But the government will only let you trip if you pay them. And you can trip all you want.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
But it's really weird. They have no guns, and yet they have a very high crime rate in England, which tells you how polite the English are. Give me your wallet. All right. How do you have a crime rate, no weapons? That's what I want to know. Does a guy walk into a bank? Give me all your money. I've got a soccer ball. Ian, that's a Spalding. He's serious. Hand over the pound. Hand over the pound. And all my friends over there in Britain trying to sympathize with me. Oh, Bill, crime is horrible. Bill, if it's any consolation, crime is horrible here, too. You live in a land of fairies and elves compared to us. Don't you ever compare your crime to America.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Bill Hicks laying it down. Bill Hicks committed suicide. Funny guy. And, one of these disturbed leftist comics that couldn't deal with the real world. In the real world, it's funny. If you are living life to the fullest, and I'm not talking about partying till you throw up and, blanking out and going, where am I? And all that. That's not living to the fullest. But the point is this. If you're living life to the fullest the way your DNA wants you to live it, you would never, hardly ever would you consider ending it. And because you're fulfilled. And so when I'll put it to you this way. When I was younger, I always worried about death. I was like, man, you could die. God, it would stink to die. But as you get older, you go, you're going to die. You have to have lived a life of experiences that if today is your day, you just go, today is my day. Or worse yet, somebody goes, you have a year to live. And you go, wow. Okay, well, no regrets. Year to live. I'll do what I want. I'll figure out what's going to give me fulfillment for the rest of this life. And I move on. Leftists don't have that. They don't. Miserable people. And what's funny, they get mad at me when I tell them, you're miserable. I'm not miserable. I'm super happy. I do what I want. I feel like I'm free. I'm this, that. I go, you ain't free. Shut up. You ain't free. Yeah. Well, I can spend my money anywhere. Where you get your money? With the government. Then you're not free. You waiting on government? Who's paying? My mom and my dad, my brother, my uncle, my sugar daddy, whatever. You're not free. Slave to them, waiting on the money. You are not. You are in no way free. You would be freer if you said, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I pay $100 a month, and I'm 5 years paid in advance, and I go when I want. I do what I want, and I sell my art on the street. And I've got, $1 million in the bank from having done that successfully. I have no debt. And now you can convince me you're free. You're and living life on your terms. Not bothering anybody, not hassling anybody. There are very few people that reach that level of self-actualization. And the majority of them who do are conservatives. The leftists will tell you, I have friends like this, leftist friends. Yeah, man, kid. And had some friends that started a band. They were horrible. And I was listening to them and I went, guys, truth, real talk? Yeah. Y'all suck. You know what they told me? We know. Yeah. They go, we know, man. They're good looking guys. You're like, we know we suck. But, that never mattered. I was like, really? You think you're going to commercialize it? Nah, no. But they kind of thought they were. Long story, they lived to get inside their apartment, you literally had to jump all over the furniture before you could finally get to a place to stand. They were living like vagabonds. Happy. We're happy. No, you're not. Nothing in your refrigerator. You live like bums. They got this big, it looked like tent city, but it was in these big, what do they call them? Sofa, sectionals, but the sectionals were put together to where 6 people could sleep side by side simultaneously. That's how it was. I think there were probably 6 guys living in that apartment. 1 bedroom, living room was just a sectional. And when they wanted to rehearse, they would throw the pieces up on top of each other so they could rehearse. It was ridiculous. We're happy. You're not happy. You'd be happy if you were making millions of dollars selling out concerts. You're not happy, and you're never going to get there. But for the record, this is probably I hadn't seen Kisu in many years. He's the same dude, same guy. Good looking guys, man. Could have done whatever they wanted to do. Leftists living on the beach near Venice Beach, right around the corner. We'd walk over there and work out. Just bizarre, man. And I don't know. I hate seeing people not live up to their potential and looking for an excuse. We're not good. Are you going to get good? No, we're not. We don't have any dreams of getting good. We're good-looking guys. They don't want anything. Girls want good looks. Put some tunes together. No, they don't. I don't know where this idea that you don't have to work for it. That's so rare. But these guys, to their credit, they didn't lament the success of others. Like most leftists. Most leftists hate when you're successful. They hate it. Anyway, I want to talk about Britain's ban of guns. Happened in 1997. So they're in their 20th year of the gun ban. And I don't know if you watch British TV or anything like that much, but the bad guys in Britain all have guns. They all have guns. The gun laws mean nothing to them. And if you think I'm kidding, call your friends in Britain, your British buddies or whatever. Ask them, say, hey, do you think the bad guys in Britain have guns? And see what they tell you. I already know the answer. Yes, they'll tell you, oh, yeah. Yeah. Now, these people aren't dealing with the seedy folks, but you know what they see? They see British TV, British spy films, British, whatever, cop dramas, whatever. Everything we have here, they have there. And they see it, and they know all these criminals have guns. But worse than that, there's a knife attack in Britain every 4 minutes. 130,000 knife attacks per month. Fatal attacks, vary. But knife wounds are horrible. A bullet goes in and it either goes through you or, don't misunderstand me, it can jack you up because it's a powerful projectile. It's a projectile being propelled at, hundreds of miles an hour. So it can jack you up. But a knife, people don't realize. A bullet cauterizes as it goes through many times because it's burning through. That sensation sometimes can hurt as much as the actual bullet itself, that cauterizing effect. But a knife, there's no cauterizing. That bad boy goes in, and if a guy knows what he's doing, man, he can rip you up. A bullet has, one angle, unless it hits bone. A knife is based on the holder, and it's not good news. Britain's got a huge number of knife attacks.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
To me, swimming is a confusing sport. Because sometimes you do it for fun, but then other times you do it to not die. And when I'm swimming, sometimes I don't know which one it is. I gotta go by the outfit. Pants. Uh-oh. Bathing suit. Okay. Naked. We'll see. Should I be swimming faster? Or am I getting laid?
Swimming! Now that's a sport I'd pay to see. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. I get that we all are into sports. I grew up on sports. And I obviously spend a lot of time on sport because my younger son is in baseball. My older kids were martial artists and, trained under me. Pretty bad boys. And what happened at some point in my evolution when I used to fight karate for sport is I finally said, you know what? This is for life. This is the type of thing you want to be involved in because it's more than the sport. It evolved beyond it. And when I talk about transcending, I'm not even kidding slightly that transcending took me out of, I looked at sports very differently. Now, it could be that I just matured beyond it. And again, I'm not saying people that like sports and watch sports are immature by any means. I was a diehard fan for much of my adult life. And I honestly can't tell you guys when it occurred, but I do remember it occurring. And I said, I don't care anymore about sports. These guys don't seem to care. And one of the I can tell you a catalyst for it was I would have a friend of mine over. His name is Kenny, and he's a Mexican cat. And he was a huge Dallas Cowboy fan, and he and his wife would come visit, and we'd watch, the game. I was a big-time Cowboys fan. And Kenny when he had a towel, like a Linus towel. And when the Cowboys would screw up, he'd pop that towel on the floor and it would make a pop sound. And it was always when he was mad. When he was happy, he was chewing the towel. And I just remember thinking, man, this dude is so into it. I mean, he's in full cowboy garb. His wife is, I'm talking hat, sunglasses, the cowboy shirt, blue jeans. And it was just like the strangest thing. So the Cowboys lost one weekend, and, he was noticeably upset, but I figured he's just upset for the moment, right? So the next day, I don't remember why it was, but I ended up calling for something. They had left something, or I said, hey, what are you guys going to be doing? And his wife goes, he's not feeling good. I go, oh, that's too bad. He seemed like he was okay last night. She's like, no, he didn't go to work today because the Cowboys lost. I was like, what? Yeah, he's upset. He hates when they lose. And I'm thinking, surely you're joking, right? And she's like, no, Kevin, seriously, he's really upset. He didn't go to work. And I remember thinking, how many people exist like this guy? Look, I hated when the Cowboys lost. I really did. But I didn't hate it more than the players. I hope not. I see these guys, I'm just blown away. So, long story short, that was part of it. As it evolved and I got closer to the Cowboys, because I lived not too far from Deion Sanders, I watched Michael Irvin during his period, of contemplation, staying with Deion, and we got our hair cut at the same place, so I'd see him. My hair cutter or barber. I don't even know what to call him anymore. But she would cut my hair and she'd say, oh, Kevin, I got to hurry up. And I go, why? She goes, yeah, the boys are coming. And so Deion would pull up around the building, park his car. It was a Mercedes, I think a SL 500, maybe a 600. And he'd park around the back, come in through the back, and then I'd leave, because I'd go out so that nobody knew they were in there. She would close her shop to do their hair. And I thought, wow, that must be nice, to have that kind of clout. And then close the blind so nobody could see them in there. And that was when they were together. And Deion was helping Michael through his rough patch. And Michael's doing really well now. Anyway, what was I talking about? What I wanted to talk about anyway was the protest and the ratings and all that. And the Vegas shooting, of course, on Monday morning was a godsend to Goodell, or Roger Goodell, because without this crazy leftist killing dozens and wounding hundreds, the NFL was going to be front and center, and that wasn't going to be good news for the NFL. There was less kneeling during the national anthem this Sunday, but a lot of agitation, raised fist seemingly on the rise. I don't know if you guys saw these guys. Many of these guys said, oh, we'll stand, but we'll raise our fist. Dozens took to a knee. I heard it was 18 or 19. So I don't know if that's dozens per se, but around that. But let's say it was dozens. Sat or raised their fist. And President Trump tweeted, of course, it's very important that they stand. Number of kneeling players was down from last weekend when more than 200 athletes took a knee. And I think that's telling. But we'll get to it in just a second. So let's look at who did what. L.A. Rams outside linebacker Robert Quinn raised his fist before the Rams-Cowboy game. Punter Johnny Hecker had his arm around him. The Rams played the Cowboys, who returned to their usual pregame configuration, all standing on the sideline, but without arm's length this time. Remember what they did last time. Everybody kneeled, then they stood. Cop out, not going to work. Pittsburgh Steelers, as promised, stood on the sideline during the national anthem after watching from the tunnel last week in Chicago. And with the exception of center Ryan Jensen and guard Matt Skura, the Baltimore Ravens all took a knee on the field before the national anthem and received boos from many in the crowd. The team then stood on the sideline after the music started. The crowd gets it. We understand, look, you're not going to fool us with the sit down, then stand up. You either stand for this flag or you can go, or you're kneeling to pray. Get out of here. Two members of the Detroit Lions, Jalen Reeves-Maybin and Steve Longa, knelt during the national anthem, the New York Times reported. Their opponents, the Minnesota Vikings, outside of Jerick McKinnon, locked arms and stood for the anthem. McKinnon stood behind the sideline. New England Patriots stood with their right hands over their hearts and their left hands on their teammates' shoulders. During the game, Carolina Panthers quarterback raised a fist after a touchdown. See, I don't care about that. I don't care if Carolina Panthers is like, hey, yeah, woo. That's just, people raise their fists in celebration for a lot. That's not like it's owned by black people. But let's look at the numbers. So Fox News, they had a good, Monday night. And they said 12.6 rating and a 26 share, 14% increase over the last year's same time. So they said Fox had the top-rated NFL broadcast of the weekend and its best single-header telecast since 2015, the network announced on Monday. And Deadline said this, they touted the Cowboys rating, AOL did as well, on Monday night, but they forget that Jerry Jones was a sports hero when he warned that if his players kneeled, they would be gone. Snagging a 9.3 meter market result and the best ratings of the season so far, last night's Monday Night Football was a thankful ratings touchdown for a league that has been losing ground in that metric so far this season and all the year. Week to week, last night's Monday Night Football was up 7% over the Detroit Lions' 24-10 crushing of the New York Giants on the 18th, which was up over the season opener the week before. Now, all of that was to be expected. The bigger issue here was people wanted to see, was Jerry Jones going to be a piker or was he going to be a pro? Was he going to live up to what he touted? So, the kneeling, standing arm in arm, and everybody was looking. If there was a game I was going to watch, it was going to be in support of Jerry Jones and what he did there. Okay? But he messed it up. And I came back and I wrote a piece and said, if the market cap of the Cowboys, they said it's $4.8 billion, average market cap for a team they say is $2.5 billion. So the Cowboys are worth roughly double any other franchise, almost any other. I said the Cowboys went down to mediocrity in that moment. But here's the bigger thing. Those ratings are not going to stay. I'm just telling you, they won't. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I trust you. I trust my gut on this. And I was asked on a Risk and Reward or one of the Fox shows what I thought. And I said, I don't believe the people are going to go back to the NFL until they do a complete and utter mea culpa. Until that happens, they will never get this audience back to the degree that they've had. And there are other reasons why it's slipping, but this isn't helping at all.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I'm a member of a lot of grocery stores, too. I don't know who started this little program, but they tricking us to buy bags. I don't know why I got to buy a bag and buy groceries. I don't like that at all. get my bags ready to shop. That's crazy right there, because y'all got bags in the store. I see the bags already, so I don't know what the hell I got to bring my own bags. But and they so crazy now. You bring your bags, and then I don't know who started this little program. You check yourself out, but that is not what I'm trying to do. I'm a shopper. I came in as a shopper. I want to leave as a shopper, but yeah, because they trick you to be an employee and get on the clock that day. You don't really have. Yeah, you're not ready to be a worker at a grocery store. You don't have no kind of qualifications at all. But the lady tricked me. She's like, there's no waiting over here, sir. And, I go over there and she just walked the hell away. And I'm like, whoa. Like, where are you going, ma'am? Where are you going? And she was like, you can check yourself out. And I'm like, but I don't work here. I shouldn't have to do that at all. I was like, these are my clothes. These are my clothes right here. But she felt like I was qualified, so I say, what the hell? Turn on my light. I guess I'm open. I've been robbed, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Much love, man.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Rod Man, funny guy. And the reason why I even played that clip is because it was a clip about hard work. And it's funny to hear leftists come up with these idiotic ideas. And I told you guys before earlier in the broadcast that it doesn't matter what month, the entire time I've been doing this, I could give you the wackiest stuff that so-called academics, these are people who think of themselves as intellectuals, and the things that they say, it floors me. And what really floors me is the racist nature of what they say and how it's completely ignored by the left. If you listen when the leftists speak, they expose themselves as racist quite often. Whether it's, there was a lady, she was down in where Florida somewhere, she's a politician, and she says you can't get rid of all the illegals. Who's going to take care of our pools and our landscaping? The girl, what's his name? The crazy dude that used to have the show, Ozzy. His daughter said the same thing. It's like, really? It's hard to believe that that's what people are. That's how they think. This racist all over academia. And I think we talked about Angela Putnam, the Penn State University academic. She gleaned from an academic paper, if I work hard, I can be successful, is an ideology of whiteness. Did we talk about this? I know I touched on it, but I don't think we actually covered it. So here's what the excerpt from the paper said. Angela Putnam conducted a survey to critique and examine ideologies within college students' discourse that are foundational to whiteness. Her resulting conclusion, published on Thursday, was that the meritocracy, or the belief that people should rise based on the fruits of their labor, is a white ideology. In her mind, this white ideology is unfortunately widely accepted in academia. Putnam believes that it is somehow a bad thing to teach students personal responsibility, emphasizing a collectivist mindset. Putnam puts forth the idea that Americans are falsely, quote, socialized to believe that we got to where we are because of our own individual efforts. Now, see, you've heard what Elizabeth Warren say in Barack Obama. You didn't build that. And nobody got to where they are without the help of somebody else, and blah, blah, blah. And technically, you can say, well, that's true. I mean, without my mother breastfeeding me, I wouldn't have survived. If she had aborted me, I wouldn't have survived. If she, left me outside in the cold, I wouldn't have survived, and on and on and on. We could argue that point for everything. I mean, 6 degrees of separation, who's doing what. But what really bugs me is that people buy into this nonsense around that. And the fact of the matter is, you are responsible to where you go. I can make sure you live. I can make sure you have an education. I can make sure of a lot of stuff. But it doesn't mean you're going to be successful. And if you're teaching that hard work is a white, what does she call it? An ideology of whiteness, then essentially the racist counterpart to that is, well, then lazy is the ideology of blackness. I would love to see an academic try to argue this. It's ridiculous. She says, until students learn the hidden dangers of believing in the value of hard work and a positive attitude, whiteness ideologies may be reproduced through a general acceptance and unchallenging of norms, as well as through everyday discourse from a wide variety of racial personalities. I don't even know what that means, except the first part. Until students learn the hidden dangers of believing in the value of hard work and a positive attitude. Are you serious? It's unbelievable to me. I don't know how this lady, how do you come up with this? Seriously, I'm at a loss of words. You teach your children about the value of hard work. You teach your children about having a positive attitude. I do not understand how has this lady got a job? Somebody needs to tell me this. Essentially, these fools propose that black people can't work based on a meritocracy. And just to poke a few holes in the concept, it's interesting that blacks, for example, dominate sports, one of the world's ultimate meritocracies. You can be naturally gifted and do okay in sports. You've got to go be above and beyond. It takes nothing less than hard work. Work hard, you get the multi-million-dollar contract. Don't, you go work at Burger King. I'll give you a good example. I have a friend, played football at SMU, stud. Everybody thought, this guy's going pro. I could name 3 guys that fit this bill. They were part of our dominating football teams during the time when we tied for the national championship, runner-up, etc. It was the best time of SMU's sports career. Eric Dickerson, Craig James, etc. So we had athletes on that team. And one of the guys, well, there were 3 guys I can tell you specifically, but I remember one guy, we had a conversation, and I saw him coming through DFW Airport. He was our running back. Everybody's like, this guy's going pro. And he was on a janitorial team at the airport. Couldn't believe it. Had another guy. His name was Colin. Colin was 6'10", played basketball for SMU. And I just remember passing by Colin one day. I was like, dude, you going pro? He's like, nah, man. And I was like, why? He goes, nah, I'm just trying to get through school, whatever. And I was thinking, you're playing on a Division I basketball team with John Concack. You're playing ball. We got a sports program now, that everybody's looking at. You can go pro. You just looked at Cole and he's like, I don't want to put that work in. That's what he said without saying. Now, this lady might say, well, Kevin Arrow, you're proving my point. No, I'm not. I'm saying there are people that want it and there are people that don't. Football is 70% black. Does that mean white kids can't live up to the meritocracy of football? I mean, the same they say is true of talk show hosts. Think about it. Oprah. Oprah is the one-word king of the genre of talk show host. She left the mainstream media years ago. Oprah overtook Phil Donahue, Morton Downey Jr., Sally Jesse Raphael. I forget that one lady. I can see her face. Jenny Jones. All of them. She overtook every single one of them. She's the iconic name. Johnny Cochran became the name in the legal field, right? You have guys like Don King, world-renowned boxing promoter. What these moronic academics propose is exactly why black culture lies in ruins. And to believe otherwise, folks, is a racist. To believe in white privilege, you have to be a racist. That's just a fact.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.